All right, so this is Oliver, the Cocker Spaniel. Oliver is a first-time client with us, so I know you're a very sweet boy, yeah. So, you know, looking to make these as realistic as possible. You don't always know what you're gonna get in the salon when a first-time client comes in. And this is the case with Oliver. He is just a little bit past 1 year old. So he still has a little bit of puppy coat, actually. So it's pretty soft and fuzzy, but we're gonna get him cut into a breed profile for a Cocker Spaniel for the most part. He's still pretty soft puppy coat on the top of his head. So we're not gonna do a Cocker crown today. We're gonna do a nice smooth skull. He has a really nice broad, you know, smooth skull. So I think it'll look really nice on him and lend to that Cocker Spaniel profile look rather than letting him have more of this round teddy bear head. And you can see he's been clipped before, so he's grown out a little bit. He's about 1 inch long right now. And we're gonna start putting on this breed profile on his body first. So I'm gonna start out with a 4-blade, and this is a technique I like to use when I'm setting in any skirt or pattern, is to use a longer blade to start out than I plan on finishing with on the top of the back. So say we're gonna do a number 7 Cocker cut on him and the 7 is gonna be up here. In order to get a nice blend line on him, I'm gonna start out with a 4-blade and bring my line down to where I want it and do a little blending with my blade. And then I'm gonna go up to a 5 and then the 7 so that I get a nice smooth transition into the longer leg. So I've got my 4-blade on now, and I'm gonna start up high and just start kind of setting a little bit of pattern in. And as I'm going, I'm not keeping my blade tight to the skin the entire way. As I come down, I'm just letting my hand go straight down. Like I kind of pick a point on the table and go straight down. And that's pulling the blade away from the skin a little bit as I go down, and we see the roll of the dog. So it's gonna give me a much nicer, smoother kind of blend line and graduate that blend line down as we go. So I wanna come down the pointed shoulder here and expose the shoulder and this nice muscle as we come up into his neck. And we're gonna just gently blend into that 1 inch length on the leg. We can come back later and thinning shear that a little, but we're just doing a little bit of the work with the clipper blade. So we have a little less scissor work to do later and blending it down. As we all know, our Cocker Spaniels like to get nice wavy coats, which means sometimes that coat's going in all directions at once. And so you kind of got to go over it a few times, maybe brush or comb it, just to get some really nice blend lines. That's about it. Generally, we want that Cocker Spaniel line to come from the top of the flank point here, right up to where the base of the tail starts there. And then, as we said, our point of shoulder, which is right here on him, you can see the point of shoulder, and we're gonna bring that line right up to where the base of his tail starts across here. So it's still a little bit rough. We're gonna come back through with our scissors later and do some scissoring and thinning shearing to smooth that down. But already we've got a really nice blend line. And then I'm gonna switch to my 5-blade, our next length shorter, and start coming up a little bit higher on his body. What a good boy you are. And now I'm gonna be blending that shorter length into my length on my 4-blade. And I'm doing the same technique, where as I come down into the 4-blade length, I'm kind of pulling my hand away from his body ever so slightly to get that nice blend happening. And we like to show off the shoulder muscle here on the Cocker Spaniels, so we can come down a little bit shorter with our 5-blade on that point of shoulder, just to expose that conformation on him. He's got a kind of nice front end here on Oliver. His leg is set back nice, so it shows that he has a really nice chest and his neck is in a good position coming forward and his shoulders laid back. So we want to show off that conformation because it's pleasing to the eye. So I'll take that 5-blade down all the way even to where I already did my 4, just to make that stand out a little bit more and be a little bit more prominent. All right. So I think we've got a nice little blend going. Normally, as you guys know, we would shave the tail on a Cocker Spaniel. He has this luscious, beautiful locks on his tail. Mom likes it, and I think it's really cute. It can be all of his little signature looks, so we're not gonna shave his tail. We're gonna leave this alone and let that be a really cute little thing on him. While I've got my 5-blade on, I do wanna kind of shape around his bottom a little bit. Try to do this so that you guys can see well. Take off some of these fuzzies. I'll come back and scissor that more. And I will also come in a little bit tighter at the back of the leg here in order to show off this nice angulation going from the hip bone, point of rump, to the innermost part of the leg and then back out to the hop is gonna really show off that angulated back end on him. So we'll do that after we set in our body line on our pattern. Scoot back for me a little bit, buddy. What a good boy you are. All right, so now we're doing a little blending with our 5-blade. We're gonna come in with our 7, which is the blade that we wanted to get the length on the top of his pattern anyway. And we'll start up here on the shoulder and take his whole back. I know a little bit itchy, does it tickle? So we'll start up on our center line with our nice tight 7 and then start bringing it down. And with the same exact technique, we're gonna just blend that 7 into the length on the 5-blade. And now we don't have any harsh lines showing this skirt line, this pattern line. We've got a nice smooth blend right out to that long leg on him. And he's ready to start kind of growing out that nice long cocker leg. And like I said, we'll come back through with our scissors and a thinning shear and we'll clean up some of the little wavy lines that we have here. But that's pretty much where we want to be for our body clipping and setting that pattern in. And then we're gonna come right up behind his head because if you end up doing a Cocker Spaniel crown, you want to leave this for the time being. So to set his neck and pattern, we're just gonna start right at the back of the occiput or the back of his skull, come down his neck and bring that right into the rest of our body clip. Right behind the base of the ear. Come down his neck a little ways so you guys can see it on this side. I got my arms out of the way so you guys can see what we're doing. Just bringing this right into the rest of our clipper work. As you know, a lot of these Cocker Spaniels have incredibly dense, thick coat. So sometimes you still have to kind of go over it a few times to get it nice and smooth. And then because we're taking everything off his face, we can come up nice and high on his throat latch and his chin and come down, clean up this neck quite a bit. Now, if I can get his ear out of the way a little bit, what we're looking for the chest line, because we've already set the length here and the line on the point of shoulder, we're looking for this bone that sloops out right here, the chest bone, the center of the chest bone. So as you bring your finger down the neck, you'll feel it indent and then come out to the point of that chest bone and you can feel it right here. We don't want to go any lower than that bone when we're setting the pattern on the chest on our Cocker Spaniel. So, I know, buddy, he's still a puppy and he's not used to being held sometimes, huh? So knowing that it's right here, I'm gonna come down and then scoop out and away from that bone and pull my clipper towards me as I go. And then I'm just gonna take that length I've set here at that bone straight over to my shoulder. And then I'm just going to kind of bring this line down and blend it into the lower line I've set on that shoulder. And I'll show you guys how that looks from the front. So we've only done half here. I'll do this side. And again, I'm finding that bone right there, scooping off of it, and then blending down into my shoulder on the other side. And we end up with sort of a mesa. So we've got a flat area here, and then it tapers down to a shoulder on this side. And then we'll do that on both sides. Before we do his other side, and again, you can also do the length steps here as well, like we did on the side. So if you want to start out setting that line with your 4-blade and then the 5 and then the 7, you can do that as well. And that'll be a little bit of a safer approach to not worry about going too short, too far down. And now we're gonna get into this head and face. So you can definitely 10 blade with the coat on, like in the direction of the hair growth, on the face and muzzle. You can also do a reverse cut. So a lot of times with our salon pets, I don't like to go maybe as short as we would with the show dogs. Their skin and coat is more used to it. He's still a puppy. We would like a more soft overall blended appearance. So instead of doing a 10 blade, I might 10 blade here in front of his eyes and his muzzle some just to get it nice and smooth and velvety, but I'm not gonna go as short as a 10 blade on the top of his head. What I'd like to do instead is just go 1 blade length up, which would be a 7 width, but because the Cocker Spaniel hair is so dense, we often will see track marks from our clippers in this coat. So I have a couple of techniques to combat that. The first one is gonna be that do it in a reverse and a blade length longer than what you intended. So if I was gonna do a 7 width, I'll do a 5 reverse over the top of this. I'm gonna start with my 10 blade and I'm going to just start cleaning up his muzzle and under his eyes a little bit to get some of this out. And if you're doing a 10 blade on specifically a Cocker Spaniel, it is much better, especially if you're doing reverse, instead of laying your blade flat to the coat, like so. Stand your clipper up on the tips of the teeth. So instead of staying flat and doing it like this, stand it up on the tips of the teeth and drag the blade towards you. I know, buddy, is it weird? Is it weird? And it's going to give you a smoother cut and it's going to leave it more like a velvet finish instead of leaving track lines or having it be too short. I'll open up right between. So I think he has luscious, beautiful eyelashes. I'm gonna do my darndest to keep those on. But as I reverse this face, I'm keeping my blade up on the tips of the blade and it gives me a much smoother, don't wanna hold still. Is it weird and tickly? A much smoother without the track marks clipper on there. I'm gonna go through and clean up this chin and his lip line. And we'll stretch this part out and get his little flews. I know, baby, I know. Good boy. And I'm not gonna go very far down with this 10 because I'm gonna blend it into my 7. I don't want it to be too short, too far down. And the rest we'll get off with our 7 blade, or actually our 5 in reverse. And we'll keep these luscious, gorgeous eyelashes. They're so handsome. You're such a good boy. Good boy, you're doing so good. All right, so to do the top, like I said, instead of doing a 7 width, we're gonna do a 5 reverse. And if you're a little unsure about this, a little cautious, or you're doing it the first time, start with a 4 reverse. Leave yourself a little room to play with it. So this is the 4 reverse. And this might actually end up, actually it's looking pretty good. So he's got a mixture of his adult coat and his puppy coat here. So it might actually look smoother given that we have so many textures going if I just do the 4. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. We'll see how it looks, and if we decide at the end that we wanna switch to the 5 reverse to get it a little shorter, we certainly can. I'm gonna pick up his ear and gently stretch the skin back so we can safely do this side of his face. And again, I wanna keep those eyelashes out of the way. This is where it'd be really handy to have three arms if you were a groomer. Oh, that's a good boy. All right, so his eyelashes want to come down straight and he's got quite a bit of hair right over the top here. I might end up scissoring that more than anything because he's still a little bit wiggly puppy. Yeah, I think I'm gonna come in and scissor that last bit of fuzz on the corner of his eye so I can maintain his eyelashes and be a little safer because he's got the wiggles a little bit. We'll get the top of this skull right here. Oh, lazy. So we've got a very short muzzle and we did a 4 reverse in the top of the head, which is gonna be closer to 7. So we've got some in between here that we're gonna have to blend and match right here at the eyebrow. And that's no problem. We can come in with the 7 or the 10 or even just scissor and finish that. But we've got a really good start to this face. Yeah. All right, so now we need to cut in our Cocker Spaniel ear. Because we did a number 7 on the back of him, we're gonna do a number 7 on the top of his ear. If I did a 10 on the back, I'd do a 10 here. If you have certain textures, you may wanna do a 10 on the ear just to keep it a little tighter and tidier. But I'm gonna do a 7 on his. And the rule of thumb is 1/3 of the way down the ear. So this is his total ear and we broke it into 3 parts. This is like 2/3 and this is 1/3. And that's how far we're gonna go down. I did already shave the inside of his ears with a 10 blade. He, like most Cocker Spaniels, tends to get kind of messy and matted ears. So we shaved the inside of that ear leather to keep it nice and clean and help with the matting and keep airflow into his eardrum. So for safety, I'm using my hand underneath the ear leather as a backing, as a secure place where I can let the ear leather sit and then press on the ear leather, keeping the ear leather flat so that I don't run the risk of catching any of the little curls of skin here at the edge of the ear leather. And so I'm pushing it forward with my fingers underneath to keep this ear nice and flat. And that's gonna be a little safer for him. Make sure I got the back of my ear nice and clean here. All right, so we still have to scissor up the edges of our ear leather a little bit to get that looking a little tidier. But we've got our pattern set on our Cocker Spaniel ear. And I think I'm gonna try the 5 blade to try to smooth out some of this hair right above our stop right here. I had to change batteries. All right, so we've got a 5 blade here and I'm just gonna gently roll the skin back away from his eyes so I've got it nice and tight. I'm gonna reverse right over that stop there and we're starting to smooth that out a little bit better. Oh, what a good boy. What a good boy. Yeah, you're doing great, buddy. All right, we'll get this side of his face. Lift that ear up. I'm just gently pulling the skin back so it's tight and I'm not running into any wrinkles as I'm reversing. And again, I'm stopping just before I get to those eyelashes. Oh, we're getting there. Look at what a handsome fella you are. Yeah. And we'll just reverse up over the top of his head a little bit. Make sure we're nice and smooth up here. There we go. And we'll set in his other ear with our 7 blade. Good boy. Again, using my hand to back and flatten out that ear to keep it safer for me to press my clipper down. And going down about 1/3 of the ear. And we'll clean up the back of that, blend into our neck really nicely. All right. It's looking pretty good, buddy. Yeah. Okay. Think we're ready for some scissor work. Where my comb went. Good boy. Good boy. Good shakes. There's so much hair. Good boy. Okay. All right, so I think we've set in our pattern, done our clipper work, and we're gonna start doing our scissor work. And I'm gonna start on his head and face. I'm gonna get my very fine tooth thinners. And like we talked about, I wanna preserve these eyelashes, so I'm just gonna gently hold them down with my thumb and just take those fuzzies off that we couldn't safely get with the clipper. So his eyelashes stand out. I know. And I've got a little bit of a wrinkle. Wait, how can I hold you? Can I do it? Oh, if I get kisses, you'll let me do it? Good boy. Good boy. So much with, especially one of our puppies. Like I said, he's just barely a year old. His limited experience being groomed. And I want this to be a happy, fun experience for him. So I'm not gonna fight him and hold him down. He's not used to having his face held still. So we're gonna have a lot of patience and make it a positive experience with a lot of positive rewards for him. Not gonna tell him no, bad, quit. I am going to reward the good behavior that he gives me and change up what I'm trying to do. If he doesn't want me to hold him that way, maybe he'll let me hold him this way. And maybe I only have a few seconds to do that, and then I gotta move on and try a different way. He's gonna try to lay down to get me to stop. And maybe I move on to another part and come back to this, because their puppy patience is pretty short. But I'm not gonna make it a big deal or negative experience or fight him on it. What a good boy. And when he gives me the behavior I'm looking for, I'm gonna give him a big reward. And that's gonna encourage him to give me that behavior I'm looking for. And he's still gonna like grooming, and he'll get better and better as time goes on with holding still and having patience. Oh, look how handsome you're getting. Yeah. Yes, you're doing so good, thank you. Yeah. Okay, so I think his face is looking pretty good. I'm gonna come back at the end and revisit it and get any details I missed, just because like we were talking about, his attention span is pretty short right now. I'm gonna move on to edging his ear leather. So we wanna trim the ear leather on the portion that we cut down, that 1/3. So I'm gonna get it, and I'm gonna get it safe. If he wants to lay down, that is a-okay with me. I'll let him do that. And I'm going to hold it in my hand where I'm cupping it between my fingers and the side of my thumb so that I can flatten out that ear leather. The ear leather likes to hang and drape almost like a curtain, like fabric, and I want to bring it out nice and straight so I'm safe. And I'm going to trim right along this ear leather line. I'm going to start with my scissors just to get the bulk, and I'm only going down to the area where I've shaved to, and then I can come in with some thinning shears. Okay, buddy, come here. Good boy. I know. I'm just gonna roll with him. I'm not gonna let go. But I'm not gonna pull on it or fight him. And then when he holds still, we'll get it done and give him that reward. Good boy. Thank you. Yeah. I'm gonna go to my thinners, a little bit more fine tooth, so that I don't leave any scissor marks in this super soft puppy coat. Good boy. And now we're starting to see that nice, tight, clean look on the front of the ear leather to match what we shaved for that classic Cocker ear look. And I'm gonna bring it down a little bit lower right here. There we go, that's looking nice. And then the back of the ear is kind of the same thing. I'm gonna stretch it out so I don't have those wrinkles I'm worried about catching with my shears. I'm just gonna follow right up along the ear leather to the point of where I shaved, and then I can come back in and just soften that cut mark and that line. Does that tickle you when you shake your head with my thinners? There we go. And at this point, you can choose if you want to round out the ear. His ear is grown out. Maybe he had it shaved a little shorter before, so it's almost a little bit tapered like an arrowhead. So I'm going to take off the tips and round this tip up so it's a little bit more of a bell shape instead of this kind of tapered arrowhead shape. I don't want to take a lot of length off, but I just want to take these tips off so the look is a little bit more rounded and blunt at the end. And I always kind of shape and trim with my regular shears and then come in with my thinners and soften those edges and do a little blending. There we go. So now you can see we've got a little bit more of that bell shape happening at the bottom of our ear. It's a classic Cocker look. So we're starting to get some of these really classic, nice breed profile things put on this dog, but it's still tailored to him and his family and his lifestyle. You know, not everyone can have a Cocker Spaniel in a full length coat where their skirt and legs are to the ground, because as we know, that's an incredible amount of work. But this is gonna be a really nice pet trim on this puppy while he's super active and he's not gonna get matted. And I think he's looking very handsome. And so I think the next thing we're gonna do is just set in his feet. We do wanna grow out his legs and skirt a little bit more than they are right now. So we're not gonna take any length off of those or scissor them. We can, you know, kind of just scissor and clean up a little bit here and there. But mostly we're gonna just leave this length, and then we're gonna take his feet and get them nice and round. So on my feet, the first thing I like to do is make sure I brush all this hair up from between the toes on the top really well. And I also spent some time in blow drying the hair between the toes up and out as well. It's gonna ensure that I know it's nice and dry in there. We're not gonna have any skin issues, but it's when we blow dry the hair up, it's gonna stay up when we're doing our scissoring, and we're not gonna miss any of those hairs between the toes that might cause mats later. And the first thing I like to do, and if any of you have seen our video on doing the teddy bear foot trim on the standard poodle we did, we're first going to cut and shape in a square, and then we're gonna round the edges. So it's gonna be square, 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 and then we're just gonna curve the edges of that square to make a circle. And what that's gonna allow us to do is match the square line on the side to the length on the rest of our leg. Okay, buddy. I know. Are you getting impatient? You want to go take a nap? Yeah. So I'm going to start at the toe and kind of feel and see where my toenail is, because I don't want to expose it. And I'm just going to go straight across nice and blunt at the toe. Then I'm going to look and see where my line of my leg is coming down, and I'm going to match the line that I'm going to cut in square on this foot to go with the length on the rest of the leg. So that's just gonna look like this. And I'm mostly concentrating on the bottom. And I'm looking to get it just nice and blunt and square to match what's on the rest of my leg. So you can start to see our square coming in. And then we're gonna do the same thing on this side. Okay. Now, I think we have a pretty nice square. 1, 2, and 3. Square, square, square. Now we're just gonna go around, and starting at the base of the foot, we're just gonna round out the corners of our square. And that's gonna give us a nice round shape. Now that we have kind of like what I would call our 2D around here in a circle, now we're gonna go 3D, and we're gonna mound and round over the top of this toe. So I'm gonna start by just popping this hair up with a comb. And I'm gonna use this length and the length on the rest of our foot as my guide to come over and just create a nice smooth dome over the top of those toes. And as he's getting impatient, okay, I'll let go, I'll comb it, come back, do a little bit more. Gotta blend into our leg and ankle a little bit better. And we've got some swirly hairs here on our toe. I'll keep combing it in different directions. With this thick Cocker hair, you're gonna see a lot of different hairs pop up and swirls go in different directions. We wanna make sure that we're catching those and blending them in so we don't end up with pieces sticking out at the end when we're finished. But looking at the two different feet there, that is pretty much our nice round little teddy bear foot. I think I'll do a little bit of thinning shearing here where I've got some fuzzy hair that's not really blending into the top of the leg as well. Just some kind of bulk out some of that and blend it. So when he puts it down, I've still got a nice smooth line right there going down to my foot. And then the last thing we're gonna do, turn this way, baby. Good boy. Is we're gonna do the bottom of our foot, and if he'll cooperate, I can turn him so you guys can see a little bit better on the bottom of the foot. On the bottom of the foot, we've already done his prep work and clippered out his paw pads really well. It's really important on the Cocker Spaniels. They like to get yeast, bacteria, fungus, and stuff in these places because the hair is so thick it stays moist a lot. So really good paw trims on there. And then I'm gonna comb or brush all the hair from my foot towards the center. And I'm gonna go through and scissor off anything that would be touching the ground. So we've already kind of set our length on our toe. It's okay, Bubby. Does it tickle? And so now I'm just getting off what's gonna touch the ground when he's walking, help keep things dry and clean, and kind of blend that up into my length I've set on my toe on the top of our foot really well. Oh, it's okay, Bubs. You're trying to lay down. You're a wiggly boy, huh? All right, so there's our bottom of our foot looking pretty good. And then I'll give a little shush. And what I want to do to create a blend from how short we went here at the paw pad to the longer hair on the rest of the leg, and also create a little bevel at the back of this foot, is just gonna meet the length set here at the back of the paw pad to the hair on the leg. So from here to here. And I'm just gonna take my scissors and make sure that's blended from a short length to the long length. And that's gonna keep it shorter at the base of the paw. So when he sets it down, we can see we have a nice bevel. You wanna put your weight on that foot, buddy? There you go. A nice bevel coming up from our paw pad in the back. And then we may need to just give a little comb and maybe a little bit more blending. Make sure everything's smooth and blended on the back of this leg, like so. And there's our whole foot done on our Cocker Spaniel. So we'll do the back leg kind of the same way. And then we'll do some of the blending here on the skirt in between where we did our profile line. And then, although we've only done half of this dog, I think we'll be pretty much there. All right, so I'm gonna start with the bottom of the foot on this back leg. And again, comb everything or brush everything into the center of the paw pad and just take off everything that's gonna end up touching the ground and be dirty and messy and wet. So it's looking nice and clean and beveled up. And you can see when we do that nice and high above that back paw pad, we get naturally that little bevel right there at the top. I'm gonna take and comb. And any little bit of blending I wanna do here to kind of tie in the length on the back pastern into that paw pad length and that bevel at the back of the foot, I'll do now. And then we'll do the front of our foot, again, brushing everything up from between the toes, and then comb it back down to get a nice fluffy foot. And we're gonna cut in our square again. So straight across at the toe. Are you trying to go see the camera? You wanna go meet all the people out there? And then straight across on the side to match our leg length, and straight across on the outside of the foot to match our leg length. And then we're just gonna round the corners of our square to make a nice wide full. Does that tickle? Yeah, let me see that leg. Let me see it. I know, we're almost done. Good boy. It's okay, I'll do it up here. All right, so now we've got the length set in a nice circle around that foot. And we're gonna come up and just smooth over the dome over the top and make it more 3D. Okay, Bubby. It's okay, I know. You just want to give kisses, you don't want to get groomed. Huh. Oh, it was a little hard to see because we had the wiggles over here. But we'll keep kind of dialing that in. Comb, scissor, and get a nice, smooth, round, beveled foot. There we are. That's looking pretty cute. Now, just want to take a look at his belly line. He's got kind of some longer hair, so I'm just gonna blend that and taper it into the chest hair a little bit better. But I think that the front of this leg and his flank is looking really nice. So we'll put a little angulation in on the back of his leg. Might be easier if I come around so you guys can see. I just hold his tail out of the way. From the back of the dog, when you look between the back legs, you should have a nice, well, he's gonna splay out here a little, a nice A-frame. So anything kind of sticking out that's gonna mess up that A-frame visual line, you can just scissor off. And then I wanna start tapering in a little bit here. The way you find the point to set in some angulation is when you pick up the foot, the part that bends in the furthest right here, this is where you want to go a little bit shorter on your dogs to set in some angulation at the back of the leg. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Square up there. So, you're having a hard time. Since he's a little bit wiggly and having a hard time, I'm going to switch to doing this with my kind of chunker thinners. And I'm just gonna start carving it out. That way I don't run the risk if he sits suddenly of poking him with my shears. I just wanna start kind of bringing that line in a little bit more to create that angulation here at the back of the leg. And then here on the back of the rump, I don't wanna take the length down because again, we want our angulation to go from the point of the hip to the point of the rump and then knee and then hock. But I do wanna just round this a bit so it doesn't look like he's got like tail feathers hanging out off the back of his booty. I'm gonna round that and just smooth it a little bit with my thinning shears. All right, so now that I can see it looking around, I'm gonna bring it a little bit more in right here and also kind of blend it into the front of my leg so it doesn't look disjointed. See what you guys are seeing. And you see how, less is more. You can start by taking a little less, comb it, look at it, and you can always take a little bit more. You can always take it shorter. You can't glue it back on. So it's always good if you're unsure to start a little longer than you think you're gonna end up. You can always go shorter. Okay, let's take a look, buddy. I think that's looking good. His grow out is a little thick right here. I'm gonna kind of just bring down this weird little nodule of hair that's sticking out fluffy. This could also be not the grow out, but that the coat texture is different here. It's making it look puffier there. As you can see, we're starting to get adult coat hair in here, and then this is still soft, fuzzy puppy hair. Now, we're gonna blend in on our skirt just a little bit. I'm gonna go with my finest thinners, and generally I'd say try to go down with the lay of the coat. You can go up and against, just to make sure that you're not crossing over the growth of the coat. So I'm not gonna cut like this. In this case, I'm gonna go in against the grain of the coat and just hit the tips lightly. You wanna make sure you're not bouncing with your scissor cuts, that you're just keeping your hand nice and smooth, only your thumb is moving and doing the work, and that you can keep this nice level flow across the length of the coat. Oh my goodness, did you just realize there was something going on back here? And just hit the tips to blend in some of these clipper lines. There's some places where it maybe didn't come out perfect when we were doing this blend with our our clippers. But as you can see, by doing that longer blade length and then going up shorter and shorter as we created this line and blended it, we eliminated a lot of scissor work and a lot of time doing that by hand with scissors than what we were able to do with the clippers. Went really, really quickly for our pet trims in the salon to still get this nice blended professional look. Another option, if you're comfortable with it, if you have any experience with it, is you can use a carding knife for this area. Traditionally, these guys would be carded completely and not clippered, especially for like show ring. But it still works nice on their coat. I don't have one here, but you can, you pull the skin up tight and you can card this blend area, and it's gonna take the undercoat out and blend this even more fine focus and make it look even smoother for you. All right, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. I think Oliver's done a really nice job, and he's a handsome boy, looking like a Cocker Spaniel, but it's definitely modified for his lifestyle and his family, and also modified a little bit to be nice and quick and easy for doing this work in our salons on our everyday pets.